All right, so what is the most overlooked muscle that's holding you back in your jiu-jitsu? All right, so my name is Gil Alcocer. I started jiu-jitsu in 2008. I opened up my own academy in 2018, and I got my black belt from the Mendez brothers in 2019. So what is that muscle we're talking about? We're talking about your tibialis, or the tibs for short, which is going to be the little muscle that runs up and down your shin right here. All right, so what are some of the benefits that come from working out your tips? So the first thing is going to be like your mobility. So mobility is super important in jiu-jitsu, obviously. When you're passing guard, just stepping and moving, you can see a lot of times your ankle is going to be, or every time your ankle is going to be moving around here. And the more mobility you have, the better you're going to be when you get like knocked off balance and you have to shift into like a weird position here. Just having good mobility. Same thing with the passing part. So either defending or passing, I'm going to need that mobility. And then for like resting purposes, you might want to take a little squat right here. And you can see having flat feet on the mat is going to help you with better ankle mobility to not get pushed around and not get moved. So this is going to help you just for resting. Another part where the mobility comes into play big time is going to be in the ankle locks. So as you can see right here, if she moves my foot back 2 inches and it hurts, it's super painful because that's all the mobility I have to tap right there because it feels like it's going to break. But if I have 6, 7 inches of mobility, she takes it back farther, 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 farther. Like it doesn't hurt yet, I don't have to tap. So that's where the mobility is going to help a lot. Another thing with the ankle locks is going to be another reason for lifting your tibs is going to be the strength that you put in, that you build up in your tibs right here. So if I just flex my tibs really hard, then most people, not most people, a lot of people, they can't even start to bend your ankle. If your ankle doesn't bend or straighten out, she's never going to tap me out from it. So that's like perfectly fine right here. And then another position where the strength of your tibs is going to come into play is going to be like closed guard right here. The stronger my tibs are, they're going to be the weak link in the closed guard. So if my tibs are too weak, when she starts putting pressure like on my inner thighs, it's going to be my ankles that eventually pop open. And then lifting them will also not only give the strength, but it's going to help my cardio out so that I can hold this longer. And then more techniques where you're going to use it a lot is going to be all the De La Riva, Bolo-y type of jiu-jitsu, like Mendez Brothers type of jiu-jitsu, which is my professors. So right here you can see the first thing you do with the De La Riva hook, you make this strong hook right here by flexing your tib. Super important. Then look, I start to go, boom, hips to the mat to enter like bolo stuff. Both of my feet are flexed right here, and these hooks are what's going to hold her in place while I go through the movement. Then I invert through here, and then look, I change the position, coming up here, and then let's say I want to go to a crab ride. Look, the tibs right there are making a strong hook, so I can force her hips to the side, and then eventually come up and take her back here. And then lastly, something I think is super important from jiu-jitsu that I never hear anyone talk about is going to be just the kinetic chain. So we have at least like 4 major kinetic chains in our body, but the one I'm talking about right now obviously starts with the tibs right here. So you flex your foot up, turns on tibs, calves, quads, hamstrings, all the way up to your glutes. And so that makes all this stuff stronger, like working together. Just like the posterior chain when it comes to like deadlifts and stuff like that, but this is a jiu-jitsu one right here. So this is going to help out a lot. One of the main places I see it is open guard right here. I flex my feet up the whole time, and I'm being strong, defending, moving. I can be strong here. And then vice versa, if she folds my toes over and bends or straightens my ankle out, now the tibs are turned off, all this is weaker. It's going to be a lot easier for her to pass my guard and everything like that. And then one more. The triangle's a big one for the kinetic chain here. So I throw the triangle up here, and then you don't point your toes. A lot of white belts do that, but that's incorrect. We want to flex our feet up here. By flexing everything, your muscles, your skin, your body actually becomes harder, which helps the choke here. But it turns everything on all the way up the chain so I can be super strong and get the tap. All right, so now that we know all the benefits of it, how do you train it? How do you work it out? So if you go to like a big gym, they're usually going to have a little tib machine where you stick your toes in and then flex upwards like that. That'll work it out. It's usually by the calf machine. If you don't have access to that, you can go on like Amazon or ATG, Tib Bar Guy, places like that. They sell tib bars that you can either do both feet at the same time or one at a time. I prefer the single one, and you can work it out like that. And then how do I actually work it out is I just do like high reps, low weight. I don't even count. I just keep going till it burns them out. So on that, huge shout out to Knees Over Toes guy, Ben Patrick. He's the one who introduced this muscle to me.